I feel as if it's impossible if a woman is unhappy to put the happiness of her kids and husband before her own happiness. Like, how can I thrive in a space where I'm the backbone of the house? How can I make this house a home? The house is going to be a hellhole if the woman is not happy.
But my thing is this: so men are unhappy all the time. They're unhappy with the sex that they getting at home. They're unhappy with the kids not listening. They're unhappy with the food not being cooked. They're unhappy with a lot of things, but they're still able to be men and put those things aside because they understand what the real thing is in the world. Like, okay, this is the big picture. My family. It's not about me. My family is bigger than me and my happiness. My happiness doesn't matter as long as my family is happy. As long as my wife and my kids and everything like that is happy, I'm happy as a man taking care of them. Women don't look at it like that. They look at it as my happiness. Me, 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 me. And that's what I'm saying. Men deal with this every day with putting their happiness last and putting their families first. So why is it a problem with the women now having to put their happiness last and put their family first? Just because you unhappy doesn't mean that you leave your family. That don't mean that you leave your man because you're unhappy with him or whatever is what's going on. Because your man ain't leaving you whenever he's unhappy with you.
That's a fair point, but that's a bad response. I'll tell you why. Because this is just saying, like, my response would have been like, okay, you can't hold the family hostage because you're unhappy. The emotional well-being of the family cannot be held hostage because you had a bad day or you don't feel fulfilled in some sort of sense that the everyone else is responsible for fixing. The family is not responsible for making you happy, and then you can now release that negativity from the rest of from everyone else. That's rather than saying, okay, and I get the argument. I don't disagree with what he's saying, but that response to that can't be, well, men do it. Men are often unhappy and they still put, the family first. It's a duty that you have to the family, especially to the kids. But the response should have been, you cannot hold the family hostage. The well-being of the family cannot be held hostage because you had a bad day. And we'll play this one back so we can get to do a deeper dive into this. But like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still going strong, two a day. Hopefully we can end the year out, on this, was it 6 months of 2 a days? Uh, so yeah, let's play this one back and do a deeper dive. And that's you know that's because we've made women's happiness the most paramount. It's the highest order of existence that we have today. If she's unhappy, she's allowed to crash out. She's allowed to break things up. She's allowed to go on her own journey and find her own happiness. Today, we're seeing a bit of pushback from that. We've covered stories on this page on this channel where a woman's happily married, kids involved, and blew that up because she wanted to find herself. She decided that this thing wasn't fulfilling her, and now she wanted something else. And while we never really want to shame people for wanting what they want, we have to call pause to that when you are now involving the lives of everyone else, not just the husband, but the children as well. So saying she can't understand, okay, she can't understand why, if she's unhappy, how everyone else is going to be happy. As if the duty of the wife or the mother is to ensure everyone else is happy. As if happiness pours from her forward, and then then everyone else has a chance at being happy. If you can take a step back from it, you can look at it and it actually sounds like narcissism. It actually sounds very selfish that if I'm unhappy, how can anyone else around me in this family be happy? Well, that's because that's the way we've sort of built everything to be. We see examples of where the father is telling the children, don't do that because your mom will be upset. And if your mom is upset, everyone's upset, right? We teach our children this very truth early on. So then daughters grow up to emulate that, emulate what they see their mothers being, and then understand that it's an emotional sort of manipulation. If you're unhappy, then it's the duty of people around you, specifically the men, specifically your partner, to go and rectify the situation and make you happy. But that's theoretically, that's an unlimited, you know, pain point you can always hit. Eventually, well, on the opposite side, like he says, men sort of just kind of deal with it. As long as the family is doing well, the family is happy. And then they say, then this is a good existence. This is something where we too have to walk away from that old mentality of simply, as long as everyone else is good, I don't mind truncating my life. I don't mind removing, the thought of being happy from the equation. We have to, it's like we have to balance each other out a bit, in the sense that women need to probably accept more duty, and that duty is going to come before their happiness, and men probably have to let go of the idea that duty is the most paramount thing. We need to balance the scales a little bit. Men need to be more concerned with their own happiness, and women become a little less concerned with their happiness. But once kids become involved, none of that matters, right? I think we all can agree with that. None of that matters. Children that did not ask to be here, who are here by the consequence of our own actions, they deserve the best foot forward we can bring, always, right? That's when their well-being, they're giving them the best hope for fruitful outcomes in life. That has to be the paramount thing. That is something that we sacrifice our happiness for, and our entertainment and our joy in life. That's got to be the thing. But removing kids is just you and I. Yeah, we both going to have to sacrifice some things to make one another. Like I said before, take care of myself for you. You doing the same. But if you're unhappy, as and we get how easy it is for you to be unhappy, right? It's a fleeting emotion. You can be unhappy Tuesday and then be fine, you know, Tuesday afternoon. Or you be unhappy Tuesday, you're not happy till next Tuesday, or you're not unhappy throughout the entire year, and it has more to do with depression, it has more to do with neurochemical imbalances. But if we can blow up our lives because we're simply unhappy, the thing that it took two of us to curate, to bring together, then this is another reason why men are saying, uh, why bother? If I can do everything right and I can be everything you need me to be, but one day you decide you're unhappy, and this is 20, 30 years down the line, everything we built can be blown up. Everything. And at no fault of my own. I've tried to do what I needed to do, but you've hit this existential crisis that we all sort of do, when we have to change, when a change of identity hits, when you're no longer needed to be a mother, or you became a mother, and there's a switch, right? And we never we never actively prepare ourselves for it. To saying that what happens when your identity changes, either, and I've had friends who've talked about how difficult it was being a single mom. And then as their child aged 7, 8, 9 years old and became more and more independent, to the preteens, to teens, the first thought is like, I want another child. And I asked her, do you want another child, or are you afraid of that you're no longer mom in the sense that you have been for the last 13 years? She couldn't answer it. Right. And I give her kudos for thinking about it, but that's a very real question. What happens when that identity shift changes? Whenever we hit that uncertainty, that instability, we're unhappy. You're now unhappy and we're together. You follow that unhappiness, you blow the whole thing up. So yeah, I think he's absolutely right in this, that men constantly deal with being unhappy, and no, it's for the betterment of the family. There's a point of pride in there. There's a lot to be proud of there. But to the extent where we think that masculinity simply means sacrifice, that's one of the core tenets of being a man. Sacrifice to everyone else around you is better. We need to let go a little bit of that. We need to redefine what that is. We need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because we weren't put on this planet simply to sacrifice. We weren't put on this planet simply to find a spouse and make her, pedestalize her and make her happy at the cost of the family, at the cost of your own personal growth and journey, or your own personal happiness. In essence, we've all got stuff to redefine, and ways to be, ways that we can be better for each other. Now, if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, let me know. Let me know what you think about them. Click on them, get a view there. And if you listen to the sound of my voice now and you haven't subscribed, just subscribe and let me know